Hello, everyone. Welcome back to yet another political episode. So, we're going to go ahead and talk about the it's the April 2nd primaries that took place yesterday. We'll start off with the state of Connecticut, and I'll tell you, Joe Biden, he did okay. He did okay in Connecticut, although turnout was a little wonky. I'll go ahead and pull up the New York Times. And the thing I don't like about New York Times is it has towns instead of counties. And I think that's okay. Everyone really has towns. Every state has towns. Um, when it comes to the municipalities, but we're gonna go ahead and pull that up. New York, Connecticut primary NYT. Let's see. Yes, it's no doubt about it. Joe Biden managed to escape with carrying most, um, if not all, towns. As you know, he pretty much carried every single county. We have towns that have not got any votes in yet. I don't know if if people in these towns didn't even bother voting. Interestingly enough, we have Washington, Connecticut, we have Litchfield, Connecticut, and Hampton, Connecticut. That their votes are not yet counted here, and that's not surprising. Of course, Connecticut is a more dense state. Like, it's pretty impacted together. You have voters from the New York Metro. And of course, the uncommitted vote is going to get more votes in the New York area, more progressive, more far left area, of course. But once you get away from New York, uncommitted is suddenly not an option. You in Bridgeport, nobody voted uncommitted according to the recent results. However, past Bridgeport, uncommitted is still a very varied option all across Fairfield County. I would say Bridgeport is the one city that didn't get much of a uncommitted say, but yeah, uncommitted did a very good job in Fairfield County. Even in areas like in New Haven County. Heck, I think uncommitted managed to get up to as you know, they got to second place, getting 7,492 votes. You have to have a lot of votes. You got to have a lot of support. Oh yes, you got Deep River also not counting in votes, but you got to have a lot of support for that uncommitted option across the state of Connecticut. Of course, there have, I believe, no delegates. Uncommitted did not get enough support to claim delegates, unfortunately. But we have areas in Basra and in Scotland and Walcott, Connecticut, where the uncommitted option is actually pretty popular. Let's see. Yeah, Scotland, very unpopular city. You'll see. It must be more of a conservative city, and more of this area here in that red county, but can never keep forgetting that county's name. But yes, 201 votes for uncommitted. Yes, I think it's very interesting to see here. 65,250 votes. I mean, Joe Biden could have got more. Like, how many people live over here? This is the New York Metro. And that alone, guys, is enough to get a message out. On if not much people came out to support Joe Biden, he's going to claim the delegates anyway. There's actually one delegate that Uncommitted could get, but we'll see. There's 95%. I think that one delegate's probably going to go for Biden for sure. But let's just see, guys. If more people stayed at home with the narrative thinking, oh, Joe Biden's going to win the nomination, then guess what? I hate to break it to you, but Uncommitted's going to win the primary. Well, at least win delegates. That's what sort of what it's the estimate is here is going on. But yeah, that's nothing much to say about Connecticut. These videos, a lot of people think, oh, it's pointless of doing these videos because it's just Biden Trump winning every single state. But however, there are patterns. There are the patterns in each said state that really tell us a lot. For instance, the Uncommitted is a good estimation in the Democrat primary. I would say I'm more interested in the Democrat primaries now because of the Uncommitted option. And if the Uncommitted option isn't there, I'm not really interested. I mean, it doesn't really serve a purpose, but we'll be taking a look more in that future time. But yes, Joe Biden winning Connecticut, Associated Press calling this race right away. Once again, because of the low turnout, 95% of the votes have been called in. So I think that concludes that. Let's go ahead and, oh yeah, it says 85. But once again, Connecticut, I mean, Wikipedia is not a reliable vote counter. It's not even a vote counter, and it's not a press holder. They do articles. That doesn't mean that they have reporters out there. No, it's I think they take off of the New York Times. They kind of do because their maps are based on New York Times maps, as you'll see. These sort of maps. 224,000, and Bernie Sanders withdrew. That says a lot. Bernie Sanders withdrew, and this amount of people came out to support Biden. It's really interesting. And Joe Biden couldn't even get to 100,000. It's just he almost got to a half of it. Almost got a half but this guy is challenged. He's being challenged by two characters, Uncommitted and Marianne Williamson. Many people don't recognize Williamson as a legitimate player. But guess what? She's on the ticket. She's not withdrawn, even though she should. A lot of people don't show up, too, because Biden's already closed in on the nomination. He sealed the said nomination for himself. So it's pretty much over and pointless to vote. True. I don't know. I guess you gotta vote by your own judgment. But I have to tell you, it's not looking good for the Biden campaign in the general election due to these Super Tuesday's results and the primary results. Like, look at that. Like, the low turnout. It shows the Biden campaign has very, very little energy. Trump had the decency in primaries to go out and win every single county by over 70%, carrying every state by 90%. Biden can't even escape with a state. His lowest performance was 60%. That is bad. Okay? Bad. And primaries, why does primaries matter? Well, primaries will show how it'll basically show people that show up and vote in the primaries are the people that'll show up and vote in the general election. Most people do. And the speculation is if your base is strong enough to carry votes, like California, look at that. Joe Biden will probably swiftly carry California. 3 million votes. All right, although this is more of a Minnesota performance, I would expect more from Joe Biden, but Hey, guess what? I think he would still carry California. All right, perfect. But if you get like a swing state, and I'm not, well, I'll just say Wisconsin, we're going to talk about Wisconsin another time. 419,000 people went out and voted for Joe Biden. Good for him. But if that number was lower, like 58,000 people in a swing state, well, guess what? Guess what, guys? Joe Biden most likely won't win Wisconsin. So he got lucky in Wisconsin. Good for him. Michigan is a great concern. Look at that. 100,000 people had the decency to vote against Joe Biden, bother and waste their time to vote uncommitted. Well, they're voting for a special cause. They're voting to stop a genocide in their narrative, right? And once again, how the left operates, you gotta prove. You can't just say, I oppose the genocide in Gaza. You can't just say that. You have to do it, right? You have to prove to the community in some way. Attend protests, get crazy, or better yet, I would say the more peaceful and more logical reason would be voting. Perfect. And I mean, these people are dead serious. They're not going to vote for Joe Biden. They're going to stand in a line and vote uncommitted. And yeah, a lot of lines, especially in the Detroit area, take hours. A lot of people are like, why waste your time? So yes, there is also, as you know, the great concern when it comes to that. I'm going to take a look at the Republican primaries. Let's see how Donald Trump did in Connecticut. He's running unopposed. People shouldn't go and voting for him. He won 77.9%. He's expectedly underperformed Biden's record. Democrats jump up and down. Guys, guess what? This guy's running against nobody. No one could show up and vote for Donald Trump, and he would still carry Connecticut. He would win 100%. He probably wouldn't carry any counties, but he would still carry. He would be still given 222 delegates. Yes, people had the decency to go out and vote for Nikki Haley, despite her being withdrawn, 13.9%. And yeah, there's always going to be the hardliner. They think, oh, if we go out and Nikki Haley wins the primary, maybe she'll join back in because why can't she? Maybe Marianne Williamson withdrew and she jumped back in the race. Why can't Nikki Haley jump back into the race? This is their logic. Okay, this is their logic. Don't blame me. This is their logic. This is how they want to think it, and they go ahead. But the thing is, only 6,220 people voted. Okay, that's a little bit more than my Minnesota town. It's still a lot of people. 34,000 people voted for Trump. You'll see Trump did perform best in conservative areas. Example being, I would say, this is Litchfield County. Windham County, I want to believe this is called. Windham County? Is that Windham County? It has to be. Because the one I'm thinking is New London. Yeah, this is Windham County. Windham, Litchfield. And this is New Haven. Yes, New Haven County. Yeah, these counties he performed well in. Now, Haley performed, of course, well, actually, acknowledgeably. Haley didn't perform well. Trump escaped with these counties by 70%. And once again, there is a reason why Trump escaped with counties like Windham, Litchfield, and New Haven, because no one came and voted. No one bother voted. No one even bothered and voted. No one bother voting. 80%. I mean, these people at least know that Nikki Haley is not going to win. I know most of Connecticut, overwhelmingly majority of Connecticut knew that Haley isn't going to come back. But there's going to be always the desperate, Trump deranged Republican. Trump derangement syndrome Republican that will always think, oh, we can't have Orange Man come back, even though Orange Man's the only one running right now. Heck, 2020, Trump was technically challenged in 2020. And they didn't even bother. They didn't even bother going and facing Orange Man bad. They didn't even care. They didn't even care. They knew Trump was going to be the nominee because presidents always become the nominee because they represent the party. So, interestingly enough, Trump wins. Who performed better? I would say Joe Biden, but I don't know. Once again, expectedly, what's expectedly going to happen? Well, here's the thing. Trump won all 22 delegates. Oh, never mind. He didn't win all 22. There's only 28. We're still 96% in. But just like Trump has carried delegates ever since Super Tuesday, I highly doubt that Nikki Haley's going to escape with a delegate being withdrew. I mean, seriously. So yeah, technically Joe Biden is doing better, but the uncommitted vote is at 11.5%. But technically more votes than Nikki Haley. Because more people will vote in the Democratic primary because Connecticut is a blue state. Slightly more, and it's showing so far 65,000 people voted in this race so far. Registered votes. It seems as if we got 40,000, 39,000 votes. Yeah, this is, you gotta expect the trends. But what do you guys think about Connecticut? Let me know down below in the comments. And as always, I will see you all in the next political episode.